How can a silent character win so many hearts? When Shinobu mistook Nezuko for a demon and raised her sword to strike, Nezuko transformed into a childlike form. Even Shinobu's blade slowed in response. As the elder sister she adores, Mitsuri often draws Nezuko out from under the table whenever Tanjiro and Mitsuri are talking. Tanjiro even braided her hair to match Mitsuri's, showing both care and thoughtfulness.
禰豆子もいいと思うか。お風呂は一緒に入ったから。
In battle, Nezuko proves equally capable. When Tanjiro falls, she carries him on her shoulders, seeking help. When Tengen Uzui is poisoned, she uses her blood demon art to neutralize the toxin. She even enters a semi-uncontrolled demon state to protect her brother, fangs bared, eyes fierce. But the moment the lullaby plays, she instantly returns to her human form. She is both a warm support for her brother and a reliable combat ally. Her combination of cuteness and resilience makes her impossible to resist. Which of Nezuko's iconic moments is your favorite? Which mental state of a demon slayer is the most extreme? Shinobu Kocho always smiles gently. She knows she can't beat the upper moons with strength alone, so she constantly pushes herself, turning her body into a deadly weapon. During the Infinity Castle battle, she gave up hope of survival. Her anger and resolve became a power even demons feared. Muichiro Tokito lost everything, and the world turned silent and gray to him. When he swings his sword, his mind is still. In battle, his eyes show no fear. This is ultimate loneliness, and though he is only 14, his heart had already reached the edge of death. Mitsuri Kanroji's invincibility is different. She is filled with love and knows how to protect others. Because she has been deeply loved, she understands how to love in return. Slaying demons is almost secondary. Her power comes from a light of warmth that never fades. Akaza spent centuries perfecting martial arts, trying to fill a hole in his life. Small regrets drove his relentless strength. He almost healed his father, almost had a family, almost found happiness. Every almost cut his heart like a knife. Among these extremes, which one do you find hardest to accept? Was Rengoku actually close to defeating Akaza?
全国さんは負けてない。誰も死なせなかった。戦い抜いた。守り抜いた。
Think about it. Without a mark or the transparent world, Rengoku was on the edge of defeat from the start. Akaza's composure was almost a joke. He took every strike just to prove the limits of a human. Rengoku burned his life away, yet he only left a shallow wound on Akaza's shoulder. This wasn't a fair fight. It was a hunt against his soul. Akaza offered the ultimate temptation, eternal life. But Rengoku's answer was carved into his bones. Even if his body was destroyed, he would still slay the demon. That final punch through his chest, it was a predestined end. On that train to hell, there were 205 passengers. Rengoku used his blazing soul to save 204 of them. The last one he sacrificed was himself. As he lay dying, he saw his mother. He spent his life lighting the way for others, yet he only wanted a single nod of approval. That was the true weight he carried. But even then, he never knew the truth. Behind his father's cold heart was only the paralyzing fear of losing him. When duty outweighs the instinct to survive, is death a tragedy or a hero's perfect end?
How do demons survive beheading? For the Demon Slayer Corps, the rule is simple. Cut off a demon's head with a Nichiren blade. The fight should be over, but demons evolved ways around that rule. The hand demon used the simplest defense. He grew larger and wrapped multiple arms around his neck, shielding himself physically. Lower rank 5 Rui acted first. At the exact moment the blade struck, he cut off his own head with spider threads, dodging the fatal blow. Upper rank 6, Daki and Gyutaro share the same life system. Both heads must be severed simultaneously. Upper rank 4, Hantengu hides his real body. Clones fight outside. Even if a clone is beheaded, the real body survives. Upper rank 3, Akaza regenerates and keeps fighting after decapitation. Upper rank 1, Kokushibo also survives after beheading, forcing his body to continue. The pattern is clear. Demons don't rely on strength alone. They evolve, finding ways to counter the beheading rule. So the real question is, if cutting off a demon's head isn't enough, what then is the Demon Slayer Corps' true path to victory? Did you notice how some Demon Slayer characters start the same, yet end up worlds apart? Some lives start alike. One choice changes everything. Look at Gyutaro and Daki. Now look at Tanjiro and Nezuko. Two sibling pairs, both raised in hardship, both surviving by holding on to each other. The turning point? Who reached out to them?
鬼になったことに後悔はねえ。
Tanjiro met Giyu and was guided toward a mentor and a path. Gyutaro and Daki met someone who led them the other way, not toward healing, but toward becoming demons. One pair was hurt by demons and chose to fight back. The other was hurt by the world and became part of the darkness. Even Daki's fading hair color mirrors Gyutaro's, a quiet detail of their bond. Same sibling love, same struggle against fate. Tanjiro chose compassion and moved toward the light. Gyutaro chose anger and walked toward ruin. Then there's Giyu and Muichiro, both younger siblings. Both lost an older brother or sister. Giyu once smiled easily. Muichiro once had childlike innocence. After loss, they changed. Giyu hid his grief and stopped smiling. Muichiro lost his memories and lived almost as his brother's reflection. Same starting line, different endings. So maybe Demon Slayer isn't just about battles. When you face the same pain as someone else, what will you choose?
How many of these Demon Slayer couples do you know? And can you guess the last one? First, Obanai Iguro and Mitsuri Kanroji. Obanai hid the scars on his mouth with bandages, but with Mitsuri, he showed steady devotion. In the Infinity Castle's final battle, he admitted he had loved her since they first met. At the end, they finally shared their feelings and stayed together in their final moments. Second, Tanjiro Kamado and Kanao Tsuyuri. Kanao grew up with trauma and kept her heart closed. Tanjiro's warmth slowly changed that. With his support, she began choosing for herself and listening to her own voice. Third, Zenitsu Agatsuma and Nezuko Kamado. Zenitsu fell for Nezuko instantly and protected her again and again. After she became human, she remembered everything and accepted his feelings. They later built a family together. Fourth, Giyu Tomioka and Shinobu Kocho. They often fought side by side. Giyu stayed distant. Shinobu saw through him. After her sacrifice, he carried on her will. They never said it clearly, but the silence says enough. Some love is fierce. Some heals. Some protects. Some stays unspoken. Which couple is hardest for you to let go of? Do you know the MBTI types of the Hashira in Demon Slayer? First, Rengoku Kyojiro, the Flame Hashira. He's a classic ENFJ, born leader, the heart of his team. Whenever danger appears, he charges in. Even his breath style mirrors his personality, fiery, passionate flame breathing. During the Infinity Train battle, his opponent Akaza couldn't help but admire his charisma. Next, Giyu Tomioka, the Water Hashira. Definitely an INFP, cold outside, sensitive inside. He constantly doubts himself. Even at peak strength, one of the top Hashira, he hesitates to fully embrace his role. Then Shinobu Kocho, the Insect Hashira, INFJ to a T. Gentle smile hiding the heavy burden of avenging her sister by killing Doma. Sharp insight, using insect breathing, relying on poison since she can't decapitate demons directly. Finally, Tengen Uzui, the Sound Hashira, is an ESFP, flashy, bold, theatrical. He embodies the lively, showy type. In the Entertainment District arc, he sacrificed an eye and an arm to defeat Upper Moon 6, the first Hashira in nearly a century to kill an Upper Moon. Which MBTI types do you think the rest of the Hashira have? Which Hashira's MBTI do you want to know next? Drop your guesses in the comments.